General Hospital shocker. Scout's tragic accident exposes Drew's hidden secret. The quiet streets of Port Charles are never truly at rest. And last night's episode of General Hospital proves it once again, in a twist that promises to leave fans reeling for weeks. A simple argument between father and daughter erupted into tragedy and revealed a secret that could change lives forever. It all began with a fight. The Scout and Drew dynamic has always been layered, but fans saw a more turbulent side recently. After ignoring Drew's warnings, Scout snuck away from her camping retreat, desperate for her own adventure and independence. But when Drew learned of her decision, rage and fear boiled over. Their confrontation at home was raw and intense. Voices were raised, accusations hurled, and Drew, overwhelmed by concern and disappointment, unleashed a stern rebuke that struck Scout to the core. Tears streaming down her face, Scout cried out that he was being unfair, insisting she wasn't a child anymore. Unable to handle the weight of the confrontation, she darted out of the house, the front door slamming behind her, echoing her distress. A heart-stopping turn, tragedy strikes. Alone and hurt, Scout ran into the streets of Port Charles, her vision blurred by tears. The night, usually alive with the city's gentle buzz, became a blur of headlights and screeching rubber. In a single, horrifying moment, the unthinkable happened. A car, unable to stop in time, hit Scout. Time seemed to freeze as bystanders rushed to her aid. The calls for help, the flashing ambulance lights, the sea of panicked faces, it all faded into the background for Drew, who collapsed to his knees, sobbing, his world spinning out of control. As Scout was loaded into the ambulance, Drew barely managed to climb in, clutching her hand and begging her to hold on. The agony at General Hospital. Liz delivers the news. The rush through General Hospital's emergency entrance was nothing short of chaos. Nurses called for trauma teams, monitors beeped erratically, and Liz Weber appeared, face grave, to deliver an urgent update. Scout has lost a significant amount of blood. She's going to need an immediate transfusion. Without hesitation, Drew volunteered, "Take mine. I'll give anything to save her." The declaration coming as a desperate plea, and a promise rolled into one. Doctors whisked him away for blood testing as every second ticked by like a drumbeat, pounding in his ears. A discovery that shatters everything. As the doctors prepared to save Scout, a nurse's voice suddenly sliced through the tension. "There's a problem, Drew. Your blood type doesn't match Scout's. We can't use your blood." Confusion turned to shock as the medical team double-checked the records. The nurse's words hung in the sterile air, heavy and sharp. "I'm sorry, Drew, but you're not a compatible match. You can't be Scout's biological father." The words landed like a bomb. Drew staggered backward, disbelief and pain etched into every line of his face. In the blink of an eye, the foundation of his world started to crumble. For so long, he has loved and protected Scout as his own. Now, the unmistakable truth, medical, undeniable, meant everything was about to change. Tears, desperation, and a world turned upside down. As Scout's fate hung by a thread in the operating room, Drew was left to grapple with a storm of emotions: fear for his daughter's life, betrayal, confusion, and an overwhelming sense of loss, not only for Scout's safety, but for the future he thought was certain. Liz, always a pillar in a crisis, tried to support Drew, but nothing could ease the devastation in his heart. Fans watching at home could almost feel the walls closing in as years of love, hope, and dreams came crashing down. What's next in Port Charles? The implications of this bombshell are staggering. Scout's survival depends on finding a compatible donor fast, but questions are already swirling. If Drew isn't her biological father, who is? How long have the secrets been kept, and by whom? How will this new revelation affect the delicate relationships weaving through Port Charles? Within the walls of General Hospital, alliances will be tested. Past lovers may come under scrutiny, and the truth is bound to send shockwaves through the entire community. Drew's heartbreak is only the beginning. The dramatic fallout from Scout's accident and the revelation about her parentage promises to trigger a series of emotional confrontations, shocking accusations, and life-altering decisions. Stay tuned, the aftermath will stun you. As the episode fades on Drew's anguished tears and Scout's fight for life, the stakes have never been higher. Port Charles is on the brink of a new chapter, and absolutely no one will be left untouched by the aftermath. Keep your eyes glued to General Hospital, because the saga of Scout, Drew, and the mysterious truth about her origins is only just beginning. One thing's for sure, in a town built on secrets and lies, sometimes the truth is the most dangerous revelation of all. Next, we will learn about the issue of why Laura Spencer desperately needs her husband Kevin Collins by her side more than ever before. In the bustling world of Port Charles, where political intrigue and personal dramas collide, Laura Spencer finds herself at a crossroads that could redefine her entire legacy. As devoted viewers of ABC's General Hospital are well aware, Laura is entangled in the chaotic aftermath of Measure C, a controversial ballot initiative that has not only shaken the foundations of her mayoral position, but also exposed the vulnerabilities in her leadership. This measure, designed to overhaul local governance with promises of transparency and reform, has backfired spectacularly for Laura, leading to widespread public backlash and calls for her resignation. Imagine the weight on her shoulders, years of dedicated service to the community, from tackling crime waves to fostering community programs, now overshadowed by this single political misstep, adding to the turmoil. Whispers around town suggest that hidden alliances and undisclosed dealings might have influenced the vote, painting Laura as out of touch with the everyday residents of Port Charles. It's a perfect storm that's eroding her support base, and without a strong pillar of emotional and strategic support, she risks losing not just her seat, but her hard-earned reputation as a beacon of integrity. Compounding Laura's challenges is her increasingly close association with Sonny Corinthos, the enigmatic mob boss whose shadow looms large over the city's underbelly. While Sonny has offered her a semblance of alliance during these trying times, perhaps through discreet advice on navigating the political minefield or even subtle financial backing, for her defense it's becoming evident that this partnership is more of a liability than an asset. Picture this: Laura, once seen as the epitome of moral uprightness, now spotted in hushed conversations with Sonny at local hotspots like the Metro Court, fueling rumors that she's compromising her principles for survival. Fans have pointed out how Sonny's notorious reputation for violence and shady dealings is tarnishing her image, making her appear complicit in the very corruption Measure C aimed to eradicate. Inventive plot twists could even emerge here, such as leaked documents implying Sonny's indirect involvement in swaying votes against her, or a dramatic confrontation where Laura defends him publicly, only to face a media frenzy that questions her judgment. This alliance, meant to provide strength, is instead isolating her from allies like the police commissioner or community leaders, who view Sonny as a threat to public safety. It's a narrative ripe for tension, highlighting how desperation can lead even the strongest characters down precarious paths. This is precisely why the absence of Kevin Collins, Laura's devoted husband and a psychiatrist known for his calm wisdom, feels like a glaring void in the storyline. Kevin has been missing from the screen for what seems like an eternity, months, stretching into a perceived abandonment that has left fans puzzled and frustrated. Envision the everyday scenes that could have been: Kevin offering late-night counsel in their cozy home, dissecting the psychological toll of political defeat, or even accompanying her to town hall meetings to provide a united front. Instead, there's radio silence, no heartfelt phone calls echoing through the episodes, no tender text exchanges to remind viewers of their bond, and certainly no video chats that could bridge the gap of his mysterious disappearance. Speculation abounds that Kevin might be off on a secretive mission, perhaps consulting on a high-profile case involving mental health crises in a distant city, or dealing with unresolved family issues from his past that tie into the broader Collins family saga. Whatever the reason, his non-presence amplifies Laura's isolation, forcing her to lean on unreliable figures like Sonny. The creative minds behind General Hospital could introduce fresh elements, such as cryptic postcards from Kevin hinting at his whereabouts, or a subplot where he's entangled in a rival soap's universe, adding layers of meta-drama to the mix. The online community, ever vocal and passionate, has erupted with opinions on this unfolding drama, turning social media into a virtual town square for General Hospital enthusiasts. One fervent fan lamented, "It's been countless months since we've seen Kevin grace our screens. No mentions, no loving calls between the spouses, not even a quick text or an email to keep the flame alive. It's as if the writers have forgotten the depth of their relationship." This sentiment echoes the frustration of many who crave the stability Kevin brings to Laura's chaotic life. Another commenter added a sharp critique: Laura's confiding in Sonny, of all people, when she should be running in the opposite direction. His world of power plays and vendettas is poisoning her campaign recovery imagine. If Kevin returned to pull her back from the brink, inventing new fan theories. Some speculate that Kevin's actor, John Lindstrom, is thriving in his role on Beyond the Gates, portraying a charismatic gangster entangled in a steamy affair with a captivating socialite, complete with high-stakes heists and forbidden romances that keep him busier than ever. This crossover appeal adds intrigue, as fans note how his meaty storyline there contrasts with Kevin's sporadic appearances on GH. Yet, hope lingers, with remarks like, "Since John is only recurring on that other show, there's room for him to pop back into Port Charles whenever schedules alleg and fingers crossed for a dramatic reunion." Looking ahead, the future for Laura Spencer hangs in the balance, teeming with possibilities that could either redeem her or plunge her deeper into despair. What if Kevin's return sparks a pivotal plot twist, such as him uncovering evidence that exonerates Laura from the Measure C fallout, perhaps revealing it was orchestrated by a shadowy rival like Cyrus Renault seeking revenge? Or, in a darker vein, envision a scenario where Kevin becomes unintended collateral in one of Sonny's escalating fights, a stray bullet during a mob skirmish that claims his life, forcing Laura to confront the true cost of her alliances. Such an event could shatter her worldview, making her question whether Port Charles is indeed safer with Sonny's influence. As she controversially claimed in a recent episode, this statement, uttered in a moment of vulnerability, has already stirred controversy, suggesting Laura's judgment is clouded by loyalty. New details could include Laura embarking on a solo investigation into Kevin's whereabouts, allying with unexpected characters like Anna Devane for clues, or even a heartfelt monologue where she reflects on their shared history from overcoming past traumas to building a life together amid Port Charles' endless upheavals. These invented elements enrich the narrative, promising emotional depth and high drama that keep viewers hooked. Of course, the only way to uncover the twists and turns in Laura's story is to stay glued to ABC's General Hospital every weekday. With the show's signature blend of romance, betrayal, and redemption, anything is possible in Port Charles. Will Kevin make a triumphant return to support his wife, or will tragedy strike to reshape the landscape? Next, we will learn about the issue of how Giovanni Joe Palmieri is inching toward a potential family reconciliation by stepping up to perform at Donna Corinthos' birthday bash. In the ever-twisting saga of Port Charles' intricate family ties, a subtle ray of hope is emerging for Giovanni Joe Palmieri, the young violin prodigy whose world was upended by shocking revelations earlier this year. As avid followers of ABC's General Hospital recall, Gio's life took a dramatic turn in May 2025 when the truth about his adoption surfaced, exposing Dante Falconeri and Brooklyn Quartermain as his biological parents, a bombshell that ignited waves of resentment and emotional turmoil. Now, in a move that's sparking buzz across the fan community, Joe has agreed to join forces musically with his young cousin Donna Corinthos at her upcoming September birthday party. Even though it means sharing the spotlight with Dante and Brooklyn, this decision didn't come lightly. It followed an intimate conversation with Michael Corinthos, who gently nudged Joe to confront the situation head-on rather than retreating into isolation. Imagine the scene. Michael, drawing from his own experiences of fractured loyalties within the Corinthos clan, painted the party as a low-stakes opportunity for Joe to test the waters of forgiveness. New layers to this development could include Joe practicing a special duet with Donna, perhaps incorporating heartfelt melodies that subtly nod to his Italian heritage, symbolizing a bridge between his past and present. Fans are abuzz, speculating whether this olive branch indicates Gio's walls are finally starting to crumble, or if it's merely a polite gesture to honor his bond with Donna, the innocent partygoer who's oblivious to the underlying tensions. Delving deeper into this evolving storyline, Gio's choice to wield his violin at the celebration despite the guaranteed presence of his estranged parents represents a notable shift from the months of bitterness that have defined his interactions since the adoption secret exploded. Picture the vibrant party atmosphere at the Quartermain mansion, complete with colorful decorations, laughter-filled games, and Donna's excited squeals as Joe tunes his instrument, all while Dante and Brooklyn hover nearby, their expressions a mix of hope and apprehension. Michael's role as the catalyst can't be understated. He recognized the unique connection Joe shares with Donna, perhaps through shared family outings or her innocent admiration for his musical talents, and framed the event as a chance for healing rather than avoidance. Inventive plot additions might see Joe arriving early to rehearse, accidentally overhearing a vulnerable moment between Dante and Brooklyn discussing their regrets, which plants seeds of empathy in his heart. Online forums, especially on Facebook, are lighting up with enthusiastic takes from the GH faithful, who view this as a potential crack in Gio's defensive armor. Comments flood in, with one fan noting, Gio's musical gift has always been his emotional outlet, sharing it at Donna's party. Could be the melody that starts mending those broken bonds, since that jaw-dropping may reveal. Yet, the question lingers, will this reluctant participation evolve into genuine softening, or will it unravel into awkward confrontations under the festive lights, reminding everyone of the deep-seated grudges? Shifting focus to the supportive dynamics at play, Michael's compassionate encouragement for Joe to attend Donna's bash is positioning him as a pivotal mediator in easing the simmering family tensions that have plagued the group. By presenting the party as neutral territory free from the heavy expectations of forced reconciliation, Joe is leveraging his own storied history of navigating complex relationships, particularly with his father Sonny Corinthos, whose larger-than-life presence has often complicated family loyalties. Envision Michael pulling Joe aside in a quiet corner of the Corinthos compound, sharing anecdotes from his youth about overcoming betrayals and finding common ground, all to inspire Joe to at least tolerate the encounter without bolting. This insight stems from Michael's empathy, born of his own battles with identity and allegiance, making him the ideal guide for Gio's journey. Meanwhile, Brooklyn has been grappling with the sting of Gio's ongoing resentment, her attempts at outreach met with cold shoulders, while Dante has persistently tried to rebuild bridges, driven by paternal instincts awakened too late. A fresh element could introduce a subplot where Michael organizes a pre-party family meeting, subtly including mementos from Gio's childhood like old photos or a forgotten toy violin, to evoke nostalgia and soften the edges of conflict. If Gio's performance goes smoothly, it might open the door to a tentative conversation, perhaps a quiet nod of acknowledgement from Joe to Dante amid the applause, signaling the first steps toward dialogue. However, the party's spotlight could also amplify old wounds, with a misplaced comment reigniting sparks. Fans are divided on whether this will foster unity or expose lingering fractures. Exploring the broader implications for Gio's fractured family unit, his willingness to face Dante and Brooklyn at this milestone event for Donna could very well mark the initial stride toward piecing together whatever form of kinship they can salvage. In the sun-dappled gardens where the party unfolds, surrounded by balloons and birthday cheer, Gio's presence might evolve from mere obligation to a catalyst for change, especially if he begins to warm up to Dante before extending any grace to Brooklyn. The reasoning is straightforward yet profound. Dante was completely in the dark about fathering Joe, having played no part in the decision to give him up for adoption, which absolves him of direct blame in Gio's eyes. Moreover, Dante's initial wariness toward Joe stemmed from a protective instinct toward his other son, Rocco, a stance that, over time, Joe might come to appreciate as a sign of responsible parenting rather than rejection. Invent new twists, such as Joe discovering old letters or recordings that revealed Dante's shock and immediate desire to connect upon learning the truth, or even a heartfelt solo piece Joe composes inspired by themes of unexpected fatherhood. This could lead to Joe respecting Dante's actions, even if just a little, fostering a budding relationship built on mutual understanding. Brooklyn, on the other hand, faces a steeper hill, her role in the adoption secrecy casting a longer shadow, but the party's harmonious vibes might plant seeds for future olive branches. Speculation swirls that this event could culminate in a private moment, where Joe and Dante share a simple exchange, like discussing music or family traditions, laying groundwork for deeper bonds. As the storyline builds toward Donna's September celebration, the potential for Gio's softening stance promises riveting developments that could redefine alliances in Port Charles. Will this musical interlude at the birthday party dissolve the resentment that's lingered since the adoption bombshell? Or will it merely highlight the chasms that remain? Michael's influence, combined with the innocent joy of Donna's special day, adds layers of optimism. But the path to reconciliation is rarely smooth in the world of General Hospital. Fans are encouraged to tune in daily to witness how these tensions unfold, perhaps with surprise guests or emotional confessions that elevate the drama. What are your predictions for Gio's next move? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and stay locked in for more spoilers that keep the heart of Port Charles beating strong.